Hey folks, and all be all here, and we're back with the second match of the final week. This match is going to be a pre-recorded match. I did not have time to do live commentary, so I recorded my battles, and I'm giving over the after the fact commentary. But it's going to be an interesting one because our opponent today is Little Red from the guild Pi Delta. I think it's a pretty famous guild, and 660k lifetime banners, which is one of the highest I've gotten so far. So this guy has really been successful in Grand Arena. Got the same number of GLs as I have, three, and does pretty decently on offense. He's reached Kyber rank 212 before. And you can see over here, he's got three GLs, just same GLs that I have, Jedi Master Luke, Rey, and Kylo. And so yeah, let's get into the match, and I'll walk you through my defenses first, and then we'll go to my opponent's attack phase. Okay, so in this case, I decided to keep all three GLs on offense. That's usually been my style so far in the last few matches. Um, and you can see over here in the front, I kept Padme and Darth Revan because my opponent likes to take heavier teams against these two specific teams, CLS and gas. So I wanted to expend CLS and gas over here so that when he reaches the back, you'll have less for CLS and gas, less for teams that can counter CLS and gas. And at the back, I have my own CLS and gas, and obviously he likes to use gas mirror quite a lot. So I was hoping that that would catch him off guard. You could always use a GL against that as well, but CLS is something which I think could cause some problem being at the back. At the top, I have my usual squad that I usually keep these days. I keep GG with Newt. Ray with the heroes has gotten me quite a few holes last week, as has the Bando team with Nest and Stormtrooper Han. Those both these teams have been quite successful, so I just kept them on top to either get a hold or to pull banners. And for ships, I just decided to go with the Empire and Rebels. I decided to keep both my get ships on offense. On defense, my opponent has his Ray is the only GL that I can see on defense, but he's kept it at the top, not blocking the bottom. So that makes the decision a little easier because I can take what I can down south and then come on top and decide what I want to use against Ray. I can overkill it if needed. Same thing with the other squads don't look that threatening. It's relatively simple. And then down south, he's got his Darth Revan, and then he's got Geos. And Geos is a very interesting squad. He's got Dooku lead Geos, which I'm not sure what it's adding. Dooku lead does, every time that the enemy goes below 100% health, it does add a little bit of, it gives them tenacity down and healing immunity. But I don't see how that can really, affect this team. Maybe, he's counting on Dooku to, it's a fast Dooku, so maybe he's counting on Dooku to go first, and then speed up the rest of the Geos so that they get a chance to go first. But either way, I think Treya pretty easily counters this team, but I decided to take my Aura team against that. I haven't used my Aura team in a while, and I decided to go with Gideon over here. Now, Aura team, if it's faster, it can usually do a really good job, but I decided to use Gideon over here. I think Gideon is a really great addition just because he reduces everyone's turn meter and he makes them hit so much less harder. So it's just that much better over there. And even without a fifth bounty hunter, these guys reach their contract pretty fast. Aura's team is, great for control. So I try to, land stuns as much as I can. And you can see over here, before the enemy gets to move, within 30 seconds, I have my contract. So get rid of Brood Alpha right away. Pretty simple. And then just try to control the rest of the team with stuns. So Mass Assist wherever I can, and both Bosk's special as well as Aura's basic stun, which is what I'm trying to do as much as I can in order to get these guys to under control. Here I get a chance to stun, but I stun did not land on Sunfac, so I keep working on Dooku, get him down, and now again call Aura to assist. And there we go. Finally, she lands a stun just by using a basic. So you can see over there the big hit from Spy barely did any damage because Gideon was there and he managed to reduce the offense of Spy by quite a lot. And of course, it helps that Spy didn't have any of the crit chance up or damage up buffs. But yeah, you can see over here, even if they get to go, they really don't do any damage at all. And this team is just so good at control that it's pretty great. So I like to use Gideon. Obviously Gideon is great in Imperial Trooper teams as well as with Vader, but Gideon by himself actually is a pretty decent counter uh, when you take him in with scoundrels or bounty hunters like Aura or in the Beskar Mando team. Sometimes I've used Gideon in the Beskar Mando team to counter General Grievous as well. That has actually worked out pretty well for me as well. So a couple of places that you can use Gideon if you don't want to use him with Imperial troopers or anyone else. So over here we see that I've got the Darth Revan team. I decided to take my Rey against it because I've got all three of my Galactic Legends. And even if there's another Galactic Legend at the back, I'm sure I have another Galactic Legend with me to be able to counter that. But this is a pretty straightforward battle. I have failed with taking in solo uh, Rey against Darth Revan, so I just decided to go with the safe option and go with three of them. There's a pre-taunter, and then there's a holder who's got really good synergy with Rey. So the way that you do things over here is you do a couple of lifebloods, make sure that the Rey gets whirlwind, and then you take care of one of the tanks. It should have been Malik over here. I think I made a mistake by getting rid of Sith Trooper. I think I clicked too fast. But once she gets into her ultimate, then when you come out of the ultimate, you can basically take care of the other characters pretty soon. And then it's just a question of recovering full banners. So then I just keep doing basics with Rey and end with full health on her. And at this point of time, you can see because of Lifeblood, there is full protection on everyone as well. So I think I just lost one banner, 61 instead of 62, but pretty good outcome. Then at the back, I see he's got Padme, who usually likes to keep, and he's also got Mon Mothma team, the turn meter train version with power and all that. So I've got both my GLs and decided to take SLKR solo against Padme. SLKR actually is one of those. If you want to take him solo, General Grievous obviously is a very good team to take SLKR solo against. But Padme also is another one of those teams that you can really do solo for SLKR, especially if he's already got his ultimate. The way that you go about doing it is you stun your Anakin first so that he doesn't get to go, and then you keep working down on the others and try to reach your ultimate as soon as you can. If the Anakin is slightly got a lot of potency, then he may land a healing immunity. But like right now, for example, buff immunity and healing immunity. But that really doesn't make much of a difference. As soon as you get a clear shot, take care of Anakin, and then this team has got no damage at all. Because all the damage that the Padme team does is due to um, courage, and courage obviously does not affect Kylo at all. So it's a pretty straightforward counter over here. And even if you've got C-3PO in there, for example, this Kylo Ren is very capable of soloing a Padme team. So just something to keep in your back pocket in case you have a spare Kylo Ren and you have nowhere else to use him, and you don't want to use him against a Grievous for whatever reason. A good Padme team is a good option for you to take SLKR against to get decent banners. And at the same time, it saves you a good team as well. And then against the Mon Mothma, I decided to mirror. So he's got the turn meter train version. He's got Pow in there. He's got Kara in there. But my Kara is faster. And he's got Scout as well. But I have Biston, who's actually pretty great also in the turn meter train version of this. So because my Cara Dune was faster, I went with that. I did an AoE to reduce everyone's turn meter, and now it's just a question of getting rid of their main turn meter generators. So first is going to be Pow. So I make sure that I get rid of Pow first, and then I take care of that Taunter, who's going to be Cara Dune. You notice over here that I leave Biggs for last because just because he's got tons of he's got tons of way to get turns when you crit him. So Biggs is always left for last usually. So here you can see, even though it's a relic Cara Dune, it's pretty easy to take her out. Then I go for Scout, take care of him. And you notice over here I'm not doing any AoEs. It's important to be able to not disturb Biggs as you're taking the rest of the team down. And once you've taken everyone else down, then you take care of Biggs, and he'll end up getting turns, but that's fine. I mean, the only person who'll lose a little bit of protection is going to be Kara, and if you can time your heals properly, then Mon Mothma should be able to get it back to get everyone back to 60 banners. So it's a sure shot 59 to 60 banners if you're doing a mirror match. Otherwise, I have struggled a little bit with Mon Mothma teams at the past. If I use any other squad which gives them a little too many turns, like I've used Basti Wampa for example, and these guys just because they take so many turns, they are able to one shot one of my characters before I'm able to take the whole team out. So this is the safest way that I've figured out, at least, to take out Mon Mothma teams. Now the next toughest teams over here, I guess it's going to be the GL Ray, but I think I want to clear out the new team with General Grievous, and I take my own Jedi Knight Revan team. It's a pretty straightforward counter. It's at least a year or year and a half old. The main thing that you need to do is just mark B1, B2, get rid of him, and then once you get rid of B2, then you need to mark Grievous and get rid of him. So here I'm just trying to wait till my mark comes, and there you see mark has come, and I go ahead and mark B2. Luckily, it's just a G12 B2, so I'm able to take care of him pretty easily. And then I am getting pretty low on health, and I probably might need to heal up a few people, but luckily my Jolie is pretty tanky and modded for crit avoidance and tons of tenacity, which helps to make him survive a bit. So now I'm just in the process of healing everyone up and making sure that I try to get Revan's mark back, and so that I can take care of Grievous right away. But otherwise, I'm just doing AOE, spreading the buffs, healing when I can, and just waiting for the mark to come around, which I believe should come right now. Yes, there we go. Mark Grievous, take him out, and Newt is really not able to do anything much over there. So and I think it's a G12 Newt, so not much of an issue over there. So you can see over here, I take care of Grievous almost, and that basic from Grandmaster Yoda does it, and now it's just a question of recovering to full health and full protection for most of these people. I think almost everyone is at full health, but I need to just make sure I heal everyone one final time to ensure that I end with 60 banners. So pretty straightforward counter. Can get dicey at times if you're going up against a tanky fast Newt, but as long as your Jolie is decent enough, I think you should be okay with this counter. So 60 banners there, not much of an issue. And then I think I decide to go against the Rey team, and I use my Jedi Master Luke. That's a pretty standard counter, and I really don't need Wat Tambor in there. You can take any 5 Jedi, especially ones who recover protection like Hoda or Shakti, and you should be fine. I just decided to take Wat in there. But any 5 Jedi I think should be fine, especially if you have Luke in there and old Ben to control the enemy team with the stuns and ability block. Then it's you basically get to go before the enemy even gets to move much. The focus should be for you to make sure that you get Rey down as soon as possible. Another good person to take on this team is actually Basti, because Basti on a basic can do an ability block, especially if you've got a potency Basti. What you can do is there are tons of ways to call folks to assist over here. There's obviously Jedi Master Luke's lead ability. There's Shakti's assist ability. And if you're taking someone like Jolie or Hermit Yoda, then that's another way to call an assist ability as well. So you can constantly call Basti to assist on Rey and apply ability block on her, so that Rey doesn't get to use her whirlwind. So then you really don't need to use Wat in there, because Wat is primarily there to make sure that Jedi Master Luke is topped up. But if you have Basti in there, I think that's another way to get rid of or to keep your enemy Rey under control. You won't be able to avoid the ultimates, but there's enough healing on the team, especially if you get in Shakti and Hermit Yoda. There will be enough healing on the team to keep everyone topped up after the ultimate is gone. There's no way for Watt to recover from the ultimate, apart from his own health up and protection up, which is why Watt typically tends to die quite a lot if you take him in there in this particular battle. So it's preferable to take all 5 Jedi in there, I think. So here, what I'm trying to do is there's no way to control Rey. If I had Basti, I would have called her and ability blocked Rey, and then this whirlwind wouldn't have happened. I do have my old Ben to apply some ability block, which I think I probably should have done that. Applied ability block over there, but so that to prevent another ultimate from going off. But yeah, I think I'm just doing what I can to prevent another ultimate from going off and to ensure that I end with full health and full protection on everyone. So there you go. Another ultimate went off. I wasn't able to prevent it. I should have done that ability block with Old Ben earlier so that that ultimate did not happen, and probably I could have saved my Watt by then. But yeah, I mean you learn with these counters. With this one, I think I should be able to take care of Rey and Holdo as well. So didn't get a chance to recover banners, but 55 is fine, I guess. Next time I probably will avoid Watt and take in a couple of healers and maybe Basti as well. I think that is probably the superior option against Rey. And for the final squad, I have that's the Rey squad, JTR squad, and it's got the heroes. It doesn't have the heroes. It has the vets in there, and not that fast of a BB-8. But they are all relicked up, so I think I go with my Empire squad. Was it Vader lead, or let me see which lead I take in. I think it's Palp lead. Yeah, I decided to go in with Palp lead with Vader and Red Trooper. So if you're not using Red Trooper in your Sith team, pairing him in with the Vader team is really great. Just because he assists on every time that Vader gets to go and crits. So that always helps to as he's going around with Merciless, it helps to get some of these teams down pretty early. So there you can see he's assisting every single time. And over here I take care of Han because I don't want him doing the getting mad after I kill the leader or Chewie. So here you can see I have I should have probably healed up Palp because he was missing a little bit of protection, but I think controlling BB-8 probably felt more important to me at that time. But this battle is very much under control just because of EP lead. These guys get so much turn meter that it's really not much of an issue. So I should have probably just healed up Palp and gone from there. That would have probably given me 60, but that's fine. At the end of my character zone, I'm at about 1818 battle score, and anything over 1800 after you finish the character zone is pretty good in 5v5. It ensures that you'll end with at least 2115 if you one-shot the ships with semi-decent banners. So 1818 is about 15 over par. So I'm in a good position at this stage. Then I've got both my get ships, so obviously I can go ahead and take care of these ships pretty easily. Against Empire ships, I prefer not to go with Grievous. I prefer not to go with the Negotiator. I prefer Grievous over there just because there's limited amount of cleansing over there, especially if your enemy does not have a good GAR with the cleanse. It's always better to go with the Malevolence versus Empire because the TIE bomber and the other tanks associated with the Empire ships are pretty tanky, and you can get rid of them pretty easily with buzz droids. That's why I prefer to go in with Malevolence, especially if they don't have a good GAR ship. So that's what I do over here. I end up stunning the TIE bomber first, so that to prevent the AOE burning from going out and dispelling all the overcharge that I have on my ships. And then I land the buzz droids, and then it's a question of just cleaning these guys up pretty early. Typhoid Bomber has got the soft taunt, get rid of him, and now it's just a question of getting rid of the other two ships, which happens really fast if you have buzz droids. So without a single ship being called in, I got about 64 banners over there. So good outcome. And then I have my own negotiator fleet. A lot of times I've kept negotiator on defense, negotiator and malevolence on defense. This time I decided to keep both my get ships on offense. I like to change it up just so that I make things unpredictable for my opponents when they scout me in my GAC history. I want them to get surprised by my ships, because a lot of the time ships is what wins me battles. So I want my opponents to keep guessing about what ship I'm going to keep at the back. So Rebels, Negotiator versus Rebels is a pretty simple cleanup. It's really not much of an issue as long as you land days at the right ships. Then it's not much of an issue. And you have to make sure that if you kill a ship, if you try to land debuffs, you kill the ship, because if you land too many debuffs, then Home 1 is going to cleanse all the debuffs. So in this particular case, before Viving gets to go, I was luckily able to take out the Viving with the AoE from my own BTL. And then it's just a question of getting rid of Biggs. If there was Biston, it might have been a little more tricky because these guys gain tons of turn meter. But as long as you've landed the right amount of days, I think it's a pretty simple battle. I always like to get in Plo as the first ship, just for the additional protection recovery and for the turn meter generation. And that's also the reason why I love Rex's ship in the starting lineup, for both the protection recovery on passive as well as on his special, as well as the turn meter generation. There's tons of it happening with Rex in there. So those two ships are golden, especially when you're using in GAC, where banners are so important and turn meter generation is so important, where you want to go early. Rex and Plo are really clutch to have on the field out early. So here you can see I've lost a little bit of banners on Y-Wing, but still end with about 67 banners, which is a pretty good outcome. So total at the end, I end with 2135, which is pretty good. Anything above 2120 is pretty damn good. 2135 means that my opponent has to get 60 on each and every character zone, and at the same time get about 65 on the ship zone to be able to equal or beat my score. So right at the beginning, putting tons of pressure on my opponent. Just when they see a score like this, it ends up putting a lot of pressure, and you have to think twice about what you really want to take in. So then after a few hours, my opponent got to go, and they managed to clear my board, but they did not one-shot everything. The front zone, they did one-shot, but at the back, they lost a few banners on CLS, a couple of battles over there. So I think my plan of exhausting some of those CLS counters in the front did work. So my opponent, you can see the final score was 2095. And so one battle lost on CLS over there, but the rest of the areas were one shot. Everything else over here was one shot. And similarly, at the front over here, the get two ships also were one shot. So on the whole, my opponent was able to one shot my whole board, with the exception of that one lost battle to CLS. And I won by about 40 banners. So even with, if they hadn't lost that battle on the CLS, if they had one shot the CLS, there's still a 20 banner efficiency margin that I had on my opponent. So, keeping a relatively uniformly tough defense does have that side effect of bleeding your opponent's banners, even if they have saved a lot for offense, as my opponent had done in this case. He had 2 GLs in offense, as well as plenty of good teams like GAC, CLS, Padme, and so on. I think GAS and CLS. Padme was on defense. Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of the second battle. It was a good opponent, pretty high lifetime banners, but we managed to have a decent margin of victory, even though they did manage to clear us. Not many people in this season have cleared me. I think this is only the second person. So kudos to my opponent, Little Red. Good job in getting through my defenses. Hope we face each other soon sometime. For the final match of the week and of the season, I am going to be going against one of my viewers. There's a guy called Batista who's part of the Gambit Discord server, and who watches quite a lot of the Gambit videos as well as my own videos. He's a very good player. I think again mid 600 lifetime banners. mid 600Ks, and he's got pretty good GL setup as well, pretty good mods, and he's just beaten another opponent who's about 690K lifetime banners with 3 GLs. So kudos to my opponents on beating a monster like that. And in fact, both of them, him and his opponent, had reached Kyber. So and they were in the top 100 200 ranks. So pretty decent matchup for the final week, for the final to basically to end the week. So my next opponent, Batista, he is he's already reached Kyber, so it's a low stakes match. So he reached out to me and we were chatting on Discord. So we decided to do a theme for the very final match, and the theme is no GL. So we're going old school. We have decided not to use any of our GLs on offense or defense, and we plan to use only the non-GL factions, the old factions, to as counters and as our defenses. So it's going to be an interesting match. It's been a while since I've done something like this, not used a GL, because GLs is very easy to use as a crutch, whether you're on offense or on defense. So this will really be a callback to the times before GLs, where you're using your non-GL counters to really tough teams like GAS and TR and all that. So it's going to be pretty interesting. My opponent does have only 2 GLs in the finals. I have 3, so I did go in with a slight GL advantage. So the no GL rule basically tends to even things out a bit. So I think it's going to be a little more balanced kind of a match as we get into the final. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to that matchup. Hope you guys tune in for the final match and catch that. It's going to be pretty good. All right, so that's it for now. I'll catch you guys in a couple of days when we hit the finals with the no GL team. I will catch you guys soon. Till then, take care and happy gaming.